All right,
Hey,
gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome.
hello everybody. I'm just answering people in the chat. Hey, we got a bunch of people. That's awesome.
Tess H, open the door with Grizzly and Bob Hartman. Hello, Catherine. Catherine, how you doing there? Lady Wolf, yeah. Welcome to the show.
Which I don't know if I'm spelling this right.
Don't forget, you can support us by sending stars to help earn more money to make more content, ladies and gentlemen. And we got Crazy Witch coming around the corner and up to the gate. And we're getting ready to start Crazy Witch. But yes.
Do we say hi
Lady
to everybody? Thank you, guys. Is there
Yes,
a Robin
Russell.
in the chat? I don't know. Somebody said hi to Robin, but I don't see. Maybe it's a Facebook. Oh, hi, Kelly. Here comes Kelly.
I don't
Kelly.
see a Robin. Did I miss a Robin?
Maybe they thought I was Robin because they said hi, Grizzly and Robin. Maybe they thought I was Robin. That's okay.
All
Hey, Vicky.
right.
Hi, Vicky. Oh, cool. Yeah. Awesome.
Vicky. Yes. So what we got going on today, Barb?
Today we have Jennifer Appleton back. If you recall, she is the such a fun lady that has all kinds of cryptids and elementals and Bigfoot and Dogman, everything going on her property. She is the one that had showed us that great video that you noticed the two we think Bigfoot, right, coming out of the portal. Remember that video?
Yeah,
and then the one was like running around during the thunderstorm. So she's coming back and because she also has had a lot of experience with UFOs and aliens and the paranormal. You love it. Yeah, your favorite. So yeah, I'm like, we gotta have you back. We couldn't do that all in one show. So yeah. So that's hi, Lauren.
All right, let's go ahead and bring her on. Jennifer, welcome to the show. Welcome back. How you doing?
Fine. How you guys doing?
Hey, Jennifer, how are you, hon? Welcome.
Yeah, well, what happened? She was doing the hokey pokey, didn't shake it all about. There she goes. And here she comes. How you doing there?
All right.
Welcome back. We're so excited to have you. Are you doing
glad
good?
To be back. Glad to be back.
Good.
Did y'all have a good 4th?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
How about you?
Wonderful. Yeah. Quiet day. It was a wonderful day.
Yeah. And we're finally getting some heat out here in the Pacific Northwest. It's like 88 degrees, which is hot for us. And I'm like, oh, I'm sweating.
We're like 88 degrees with a heat index of 110, 115. So humidity's lovely in Tennessee.
Yeah. That's like regular day in the South, or a cooler day probably in the South for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
You've been ready for heat here.
Yeah. I told you I lived in Tennessee, and it was that was one of the things that I never really got used to, was how hot it gets in the summertime. But
right. Well, we have 3 decent seasons anyway.
Yeah, and you do, and it's beautiful. That's for sure.
It is.
So so I know with us talking to each other and messaging, you have all kinds of things. Like I had said, if anybody watched the show last time you were on, there were my gosh, so many examples that you have of cryptids and Bigfoot and Dogmen and so now we also are today going to talk about UFOs. Do you have experience with UFOs?
Oh, yes, I do.
Oh, my goodness.
Ever since I was very, very young.
Okay, well then, hey, let's just get right into it, and whatever you want to tell us about.
All right. One of my first memories is I'm very small, and I'm actually standing in a baby bed in a bedroom that's very, very dark. And there's a bright light coming through a window that's sealed, nailed shut, covered in plastic. And then 4 entities bust through. And I remember hearing myself scream and then just seeing a bright light. And I was probably 9, 10 months old at the time. My father, back in 72 and 73, he's what you would call a UFO chaser. It was before they had MUFON. So he and a bunch of his friends would go around investigating sightings of Bigfoot and UFOs and anything that was unusual in the Middle Tennessee area and other states as well. So I think that might have been part of the draw that's caused all of this activity and throughout my entire life. I've got multiple occasions of missing time One where I was even put under hypnosis to bring it back because it was extremely traumatic. I was 19 and I had left my home in Murfreesboro and I was driving to Mount Juliet to see my father. And we had a dinner date, a house full of guests waiting. And there's a bridge that you cross. It's called Hobson Pike Bridge. It's a very long bridge. It goes over Percy Priest Lake. And I remember bumping onto the bridge. The radio was on. It was daylight. My 3-year-old son was behind me playing with his bottle. Music was on. And when I bumped off the bridge, it was dark. He was asleep. The radio was off and my car lights were on. Well, instantly, after years of abductions, my mind went, they got me. Wonder how for long. You know, this is back before the day of cell phones, so I couldn't call anyone. All I could do was just continue on to Mount Juliet and make it with Dad. But when I arrived, he was furious. And I said, whoop, stop. I said, they got me sometime between the time I bumped onto Hobson Pike Bridge and when I bumped off. And I couldn't remember anything, but I had 2 hours missing time. So later on, one of his associates that was also investigating UFOs and sightings of Bigfoot was certified and licensed to do hypnosis. So he put me under. And we were able to bring back that when I came midway to the bridge, they had been under the bridge in a small disc-like ship. And it came over the bridge, picked me up, went back under the bridge and just cloaked. And I was faced with 3 beings that looked like humans, except they were gigantic in size, very, very large. I would say at least 10 feet tall. But other than that, looked perfectly human, except they were older. They had very curly beards, long beards. They were dressed in like a leotard bodysuit type. It was like a light blue or grayish blue in color with a long vest like that went to the floor over it, and then with a silver belt. I remember that clearly. I remember the one that seemed to be the leader had gray hair and a gray beard. I mean, he had the most vibrant blue eyes I have ever seen. It's almost like they were lights. They were just so vibrant blue. And then there was one on either side of him. And they told me that I was coming up on a time in my life when they didn't know whether my soul was going to choose to stay or go. And they said that my bloodline had to continue. So they harvested my eggs. And then when they were finished, they deposited me back into my car, which they had made car and all, put me back on the bridge, and away to Daddy's I went. My memories just totally erased. Now, when you've been dealing with abduction scenarios your entire life, and I'm 57, and this started when I was young, like a baby, sooner or later, those memories start to come back to you. And they'll come back to you as in dreams. And they'll wake you up, and you'll have night sweats, night terrors, and you'll sit straight up, and you'll remember, oh, wait a minute, that's not a dream. This is memories coming back. This happened to me. And the way you know it's really memories is you've still got the scars on your body that they left behind. Usually like a triangle-shaped cut, straight cuts, or I've taken pictures of things I've taken out of my body that got inflamed and infected, and actually had to dig out of my head a very round ball, this perfectly round sphere, that my body was just like, expelled it. So it's been a harrowing experience my entire life dealing with this. You know, I sent you a video of an alien watching me in my back door, and I knew they were going to take me that night. There was nothing I could do other than defiantly stand there and videotape him. The whole time he's telling me in my mind, you can't get me like that. I'm thinking, yes, I can. I did. I got him. But they took me that night too, and they hurt me pretty bad that night.
How long ago was that, Jennifer, that the video
that one was done in 2018.
Okay.
And then they came back again in 2020. 2020, about, I think it was November the 7th of 2020, my best friend across the street, he called me. He said, Jen, I don't know what's going on over your house, but the stars are switching places in the sky. And he sent me like a 15-second video. And I said, okay. So I lifted the clock, I put my phone on video record, held it to my chest, and walked out my back door. Well, according to the phone, I only recorded for a minute and 2 seconds, but I was gone for an hour and 45 minutes.
Oh, wow. And
in that video, before they get the phone turned off, you see everything start spinning. you can hear the Sasquatches and the Dogman erupting, and you can hear them running for me. And then you can see a light cube whiz by my face, and then a wand of light came over my head and down like this, and then I dropped, and they've caught me, and they're dragging me off the porch, and that's when the phone stopped recording. But I got a minute of it anyway, and I got a picture of a claw-like hand, looked very reptilian, that was out of that video, and the wand they used over my head. I got a good shot of one of their faces, just gray. Yeah, so again, they don't think that we're smart enough to catch them in the act, but if we just think beforehand, we can catch them. And I can say, hey, yeah, look, this happened to me on this day, and I've got this much proof. Mm-hmm. Not to mention I had dislocated shoulders. I had a leg I couldn't walk on for some reason. I was covered in bruises. I was covered in cuts. Wow. They took samples of skin from the lower area of my body, and it was the triangle-shaped cuts. Oh. So it took me months to heal from that one. And wow. There's no way that you can go to a hospital, because I live here alone with my husband. So they're going to see these type of injuries, and they're going to put him in jail. Mm-hmm. And he would never lay a hand on me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He wouldn't touch me. He loves me too much. Aww. But I've got bruises all over my body. I've been assaulted. Oh, it's terrible. All I got is a short video, 1 minute and 2 seconds, to prove anything at all happened, other than the effects I had on my body and the memories that I had. And it was the same ones that took me before, off to the bridge. It was the tall whites. But with them this time also were 2 other entities. One that looked reptilian, except for his face. His face really didn't look reptilian. It looked more cat-like. And and then it was the smaller grays all together. And what was really amazing to me was listening to the video over and over and over. I can hear the Sasquatch family, my friends that have watched over me all my life. And I can hear the Dogman beings that I'm just getting acquainted with, all racing in. You can hear them howling, screeching, and shouting. And you can hear them clearing the fences. And then it sounds like their bodies are dropping. But if whatever technology that they use can even put them on the ground unconscious.
Oh, wow.
What chance do we have fighting against them?
Right.
I've been, I have memories that come back off. That
we have some. I just want to ask you. There's some questions in the. Did they? Norma said, did they ask you if they could take your eggs?
No, they did not ask. They made it was matter of fact statement. Your soul, we do not know whether or not it's going to choose to stay or go, and your bloodline must continue. And we are harvesting your eggs. And that was the end of the subject. Boom, I'm on a table, and then I'm fading in and out. And they harvested my eggs at that time.
Wow. Gosh, that's, I just, of course, was that is that the 3 guys that you said, or was that another
that
team?
Was 3. That was 3. The 3 men, the 3 elders. I call them the 3 elders.
Were they, do you think they were like, posing as, what am I trying to say? Like making themselves appear like human-like?
No, that's what they really look like.
Okay.
That's exactly what they look like. They look,
all right.
They look human. They're just gigantic in size.
Wow.
They're
okay.
Asian. There's 2 that I've seen. They have darker skin. I have seen those before, and they're usually with them. But for the most part, most of them are just Caucasian males. It's exactly what they look like. They're not trying to fool me. They know it's useless at this point to even try to fool me. Wow. In 2014, I want to say it was 2014, my birthday. We've been, me and my best friend have been in Mississippi for a week, helping her father remove personal items of her mother's from her home, because her mother had just passed away. Oh. Well, Cherie rode down there with me in my vehicle, but coming home, she rode home in her mother's vehicle. She'd given her a Cadillac in a wheel. So she was driving home. She was in front of me, and I'm in my SUV. We're coming through Memphis, rush hour traffic at 5:30 in the afternoon. And we're merging into all these lanes where all the interstates come together, and then we're still got to merge on to 40 to continue on to Nashville. And I instantly, and this is a trigger, and I have learned this, when I got really tense and I got agitated, and I just could not understand where that agitation was coming from. The next thing I know, as I'm merging into this lane, and it's bumper to bumper, eight lanes of traffic. Next thing I know, Cherie and I are driving down the interstate. It's pitch black at night, and our car lights are on. So I flashed my lights at her. And we got off on that next exit at Denny's. And she said, I feel funny. I said, you ought to. Look at your watch. An hour and 45 minutes later, we're standing there. I said, what's the last thing you remember? And she said, I saw a flash of green light. I said, I saw a flash of white light. I said, they got us again. They got us together. They picked up 2 vehicles, both of us, because we were traveling together, in 8 lanes of traffic, elbow deep in traffic. It's rush hour time in Memphis, if you can imagine. Picked us right up off the road and then deposited us 18 miles down the road, and it's dark at night. We only traveled 18 miles in all that time. That's what they can do. Because I was right in front of Cherie following her Cadillac, and they got both vehicles.
That's so scary.
Never made the news either. And you would think of
yeah.
all traffic, somebody would have seen a large ship pick up 2 vehicles. But it happened. And then they proceeded to follow us all the way back to Nashville, where she lived, to her home. I'm standing outside holding her dog, screaming at her to come out. Cherie, please come out, as a ship comes down. Right beside her house was where the power lines ran. So it was a really good clearing there. It ran halfway across. You know how wide and deep they are when it's just a stretch where the power lines are. And it was coming right down just above the power lines, not making a sound. And it was filling that entire area. And it was a cube. It was shaped like a cube. And I kept screaming, Cherie, please, Cherie, please. In fact, her house at that time was only a few miles from the Nashville International Airport. So I'm thinking, y'all are really brazen. Already you picked this up in the middle of rush hour traffic and daylight, set us back down in the dark, followed us all the way down I-40 to Antioch, and now you're creeping down this alleyway above these power lines just to say, hey, look, here we are, it happened. Wow. I can remember seeing Cherie's car parked in front of me in a large dock, like a docking area. Okay. And then mine was pulled right up to hers. I saw 2 of the tall whites reach in and grab her out. She was unconscious, and drag her away. And then 2 of the small grays that I say are just soulless robots reached in and grabbed me, and it broke loose. They somehow did not have control of me, and I started fighting. And I grabbed a walking stick that I'd had in the back seat of my car, and I went to town. And I was fighting with about 4 of them, and somebody came up behind me and hit me right here in the back of my head really hard, and down I went. Wow. The next thing I can remember, and this is without being under hypnosis, this is just the next day, the memories coming back. As I sit up, I'm in a room that's solid white. There's a tall white dressed like us, dressed in blue jeans and tennis shoes and a nice shirt. When he had nice short dark hair, and he had those same spellbinding eyes, most beautiful blue. They're almost white. They're so blue, and they're just shiny. And he looked at me, and I looked down, and I said, "You put my bra on backwards, and my boobs are going out." And I just busted out laughing, and he busted out laughing. And then he said something in another language to whoever was behind me, and I felt a tap. And then all I remember after that is light, and then waking up in the truck. So I had enough of the memories to put together basically what happened. But it never fails. Like clockwork, the day before or the day of my birthday, I have a visit.
Oh, wow.
And this was March the 21st of that year, and my birthday was the next day.
Wow.
Never fails, like clockwork.
What do you think what's the significance?
I don't know. I wish I knew.
Yeah.
I do not know. What's so special about my bloodline? What, that they have to harvest my eggs?
Well, did I hear
they harvest women's eggs all the time? That was baloney. But
Yeah,
why
I
me?
heard you say, is it the you have, is it A negative? Is that what your blood?
I have A negative, RH negative blood.
Yeah, see, that's what I have too. But I'd been told it's some sort of, maybe.
Nobody knows where it came from.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So we're orphans, I guess. I don't.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Where the RH negative came from.
Is that what is that what they were so, that's what they're so interested. Can you explain, I'm not familiar with, I'm not really, with like the grays versus the whites. Can you explain what's the difference?
The grays, and there's two sets of grays that I have met.
Okay.
One is the shorter ones. They're about 3.5 feet tall, because they're shorter than I am. Very slender, they move very spider-like, and they have the large heads and the almond-shaped eyes.
Okay.
Those are the ones I call just the soulless robots. They have, it's like they're programmed to do one thing and one thing only. They have no conscience. They have no empathy. They have no sympathy. It's just like looking into empty darkness, looking into their eyes. The taller grays they're almost white. They have the larger head and the larger eyes. They have a smaller nose and more lip than the short grays. The little grays should have a slit, and basically just have two nostrils. But the taller grays seem to be scientific. They're very scientific. They're the ones that want to cut you up and see what makes what work.
Okay.
The ones that I call the elders are really the ones that are in charge. And whatever that purpose of what they're doing with us, I have no clue. I really don't. I think that we're just an absolute experiment to them. And that I feel like they follow families. My father had abduction experiences when he was a young boy. My great-grandmother was a Native American, and she said the little people came to her at night when she slept and would talk to her in her dreams. But when she described the little people, she was describing the grays. So absolutely, they follow the families and they follow bloodlines. And for what purpose? Is it to help us to evolve to a higher level of consciousness? Or is it just for their benefit?
Yeah.
I don't have the answer to that. I wish I did.
Yeah, right. Someone had asked in the chat, how many times do you think you've been abducted? I know it's numerous, but can you give it
Yep. I couldn't count. I've had a lot of birthdays.
Wow.
I know that I was abducted in 2013, 2014. I had a visit in 2015.
Oh.
That's a visit I'll tell you about. I'm asleep in the bed, and I sat straight up in bed, ran through the window as if it wasn't there. And I'm running through the air, and I'm running until my feet touch the ground. And then I run through a gate and a fence, and I turn and I run all the way to the end of the horse pasture where there's a large ship sitting. And my father is standing there in front of the ship, and he's nothing but a bathrobe on, because my father just lived right at the end of my driveway. And as I turn the corner, the tall, dark-headed one I told you that had the blue jeans on that laughed at me over the bra situation, he stopped, and he leaned down and he grabbed me. And he picked me up in his arms, just like double arms, just like this. And I put my arms around his neck because I recognized him. He said, "Go to sleep. You don't need to hear this." And as he's turning to take me into the ship, the oldest elder, the gray-haired one, the one with the really nice gray beard and the curly hair, same one that was on the ship when I was 19.
Okay.
He's belittling and berating my father. "You don't love this." And he said, "You have failed in what you promised that you would do. You promised me before my return that she would be dead, and she's still alive." Talking about me.
Oh my gosh.
And he said, "You're going to pay for your insolence." 3 months later, my dad died. Just suddenly became ill. They put him in the hospital, put a few stents in his neck, one in his heart. His lungs kept filling with fluid. They couldn't make it stop. He suffered for 2 weeks before he passed away.
Oh.
And the visits since then have just intensified and gotten worse. So what kind of deal did he have with the devil? Is
He
my
did,
question on that. I mean,
he
what
didn't tell
kind of
you.
deal?
He didn't tell you what. No.
He had no memory of it. Well, most people would think it was just a dream the way I came up out of the bed and went through the window, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I woke up the next morning and threw the blankets off of my feet, they're covered in mud
Oh my
and
God.
cut grass. And I have stickers in my feet from running through that pasture barefoot.
Wow.
So it happened. It was real. Just as real as me sitting here.
Did
Why
your
did they
father
let
have a?
me come?
Did he remember that? Did your father have a memory of that? No.
He had no memory of it. None.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
that was
Wow.
deliberate. They wanted me to remember it,
Mhm.
and they
Mhm.
did not want him to. And then that's the thing. The memories I have are because they are allowed, not
Mm.
because I want to have them. It's
Mhm.
only because they allow it to happen.
Okay.
Their purpose, I do not know. Why they wanted me dead, I do not know. But about a year ago, I was home visiting with my mother, and we're sitting on the front porch, and just out of a sudden, my father came into the subject, and they'd been divorced for 30 years,
Oh.
not on very good terms. And she said, out of the blue, I couldn't get pregnant. So your father found a place in Columbia to where I went every day for a week to get a shot, and then instantly I got pregnant with you. I'm
Oh.
like, Mother, you realize you're talking about 1965, right?
Yeah.
I don't know of any fertility clinics that existed in 1965, and I researched it. I can't find anything. But supposedly in her mind, in her memory, that there was a place somewhere in Columbia, Tennessee.
Wow.
No, not that I can find.
Wow.
That's a seeded, planted memory, and they're good at that.
Okay.
I have a memory of being 6 years old, and I'm in a bed, and my bed is in the same bedroom as my parents, and Mom and Dad are asleep. And I hear a noise, and I roll over, and I'm looking up at one of those tall whites, one that looks human. And he's looking at me like, I hate to tear my head off. I guess because I woke up and saw him. So I covered my head up really quick, but I still could peek under the cover. I could see over at Mama's and Daddy's bed, and I could see 4 of those smaller grays, the soulless ones, had levitated her up out of the bed and taken her out of the house. And I lay there and just shivering and just in total absolute fear. I'm only 6 years old.
Yeah.
Until I hear them re-enter the house. They brought her back in, put her back on the bed. Well, at the time, Mother wore a wiglet because she had really thin hair. And they didn't know apparently how to put it back on. So they had it taken the hairpins and put it inside the wiglet and laid the wiglet on the floor outside the bed.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
9 months later, my brother came along. Is that a coincidence? Who knows?
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, who knows?
Wow, it's the chat is just going crazy with people saying, they're just do we have questions, Grizzly? I'm like, wow, but they're saying like, they feel so terrible for you. Somebody said, are they still taking you now? Lady Wolf asked, are they still taking you now?
Yes, and they're angry. They're angry with me because I won't stop talking.
Wow.
They do not want me talking about any of this. They don't want any of you to know anything that I know. And against sage advice, I'm doing it. I'm doing it anyway.
Catherine wants to know, has anything similar happened to your husband?
My husband was attacked one night in bed. They were in the bed. It was the human ones. And one had his hand on me. I'm sure he's fixing to take me because I could not move. I was awake, but I could not move at all. Mm-hmm. And Bobby was wrestling, running to sleep, trying to wake up. And they reached over and grabbed. Their hands are so big. My husband's 6'2", and they grabbed one hand over both of his knees, and then his body just started to vibrate, just like quiver, just so fast I can't even do it with my hands. His whole body. That's really all I remember about that night. The next morning I wake up, both my husband's knees are blown out. He's had 2 knee surgeries and 1 knee replacement because of that incident.
Whoa!
And
so when was that? What year was that? What year?
That was well, he just had his knee surgery this past December.
Yeah, I remember.
So it happened in around March of last year, around my birthday of last year.
Wow.
He was waking up. He said he heard a sound and he was trying to wake up to get to me because he felt like I was in danger. And then he couldn't remember anything. Well, I guess not the way they were shaking him, but they were using energy. Just laid the palm of their hand flat on his knees and his whole entire body was shaking and quivering like it was. I've just never seen anything like it.
Wow.
So yes, they do bother my husband.
Do you have any questions, Grizzly?
No, we'll be right back into this commercial.
Okay. All right.
Interesting. I could not deal with that, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
That's right, Vicky. My heart is like that too. Lady Wolf, Rob is one strong and touch woman to endure all that she goes through. God bless. I couldn't deal with it. There's no way. Very interesting. So yeah,
You don't have a choice. There's no choice to it.
That's true.
Your free will is taken care of with their technology and the abilities they have with their mind. You think that the Sasquatch abilities they have to manipulate energy and do with their mind speak is nothing compared to these things.
Wow.
And they're controllers.
Mm-hmm.
You remember I told you I'm a firm believer in the hollow earth theory. Well, the elders tell me that they come from another dimension, which they access through our core of our earth. So absolutely believe in that hollow earth theory.
Okay. Somebody in the chat had asked, Kath had asked, do you know what planet they come from?
No.
What planet? No. Okay.
No.
And then somebody else had said they're probably, wait, what was that? That was a good point. They probably were upset because they don't want you to,
they're very upset. They don't want me
sharing all this.
They don't want me sharing any information that I have.
Wow. Let's see.
And I told them as long as they're going to continue to harass me and my family, I will keep talking and I will keep taking videos and I will keep sharing them.
Yeah.
They put me on my butt for a year from abuse and harming me just recently. And that's when I said, I have had enough. Mm-hmm. They bothered my father and took him for years too, until he had a vasectomy and it stopped. So I thought all my nightmares had ended when I was 27 and I had a hysterectomy. Nope. No. Didn't stop it.
No, ladies and gentlemen, absolutely ask your questions. That's what she's here for.
Yes.
So,
ask away. If I know an answer, I'll tell you.
Yeah. It's just me trying to keep up with everybody's comments.
Yeah.
So I got different monitors. I'm trying to watch the live feed to my right here. So I'm just a lot of things. Yes.
Down says, tell her I was pretty much under a UFO in 1971 with another kid. I was 16. I did not see it come or go. How would I know if I have any missing time, or does an event like that set you up for, I think, does he mean abilities? I'm not sure what that.
Yeah, abilities, I guess.
The only way to find out if you have missing time, if you didn't have any recollection of a time change from like daylight to dark, would be hypnosis.
Okay.
Would be my suggestion. Mm-hmm. Yeah. In fact, I saw a huge ship in 91 or 92. I was riding with 3 other people back and forth to work at the time. I was still working at Nissan, and I was living in Lewisburg. So it was a 45-minute commute, and we all rode together. And we got to Triune. It's an intersection, 4-way stop, and you have to turn and go down 96 a short ways to hit Almoville Road. Everybody, as we get to Triune, all the traffic is stopped, and everybody is looking up. And of course, I'm looking up. And it's one of the largest ships I have ever seen. It was shaped like a kite, And this thing had to be the size of at least 3 football fields in width and length.
Wow.
It was huge. And it was just above the power lines. So I stepped out, and I was the only one of all these vehicles that are stopped, all 4 directions, that stepped out to watch this thing. Did not make a sound. You could see portholes. Couldn't see any people. It wasn't very thick as far as depth wise, as in comparison to its length and its width. But it was silver. It was like dark, very dark on the underside, like a cloaking dark. But above that, you could see the actual ship. And it floated right over the entire intersection, just very, very slowly, and then just slightly banked toward where I was going, my workplace, Nissan, and shot off like just a bullet, but just instantly gone. It was just like they were saying, "Hey, just letting you know, we're still watching."
Oh, and you said a bunch of people saw that, but they didn't get out. You think a lot? Oh.
They were terrified, and the ones my riders were threatening to leave me if I didn't get back in the car. I said, "You dummy! You really think the car's going to protect you? If they wanted us, they'd have all 4 of us up right there in their little docking area, car and all."
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So it's just been one thing after another my entire life with these beings, and I do know that in some cases they use the Sasquatch people to gather you and take you up to their ships and then bring you back. Not all the Sasquatch people are free. Some are still held in bondage and still forced to work for the elders and the Grace, collecting specimens. And to them, we are just specimens. We're a number, or we're a symbol somewhere in one of their huge quantum computers. But that's all we are.
So you said that some, how does that work? You know, like, you said some are still in bondage. Were they all in bondage at one point or no?
At one point they were, when they originally brought here to this world. And back before dinosaurs were destroyed, and I wonder how that happened now. They were brought here from their own world. And they were enslaved to build cities, to dig gold, to dig mines, to be slave labor. And then it was decided that they would no longer be slave labor. They rebelled, and that's when supposedly humans were created to be a slave worker race. But then they were given free will. God took over then, so we evolved out of that slave mentality, that slave race. But yeah, some of them are still enslaved to them. They sure are. My first time my father ever saw a Sasquatch was on a flying saucer. And to his dying day, he just called them flying saucers because that's what he'd always called them. Wow. But he was on a ship. He was picked up. And we lived in Marshall County, Tennessee at the time. And there's a little place called Yell Hill. And they picked him up there once. And then they got him once on the way to Spring Hill, Tennessee. But when he saw the Sasquatch, he said it was the biggest being he's ever seen in his life, and he was absolutely petrified. And Dad was working with, the ones that were working with him were the tall grays. He never saw the human-like ones that I've seen. And they told him through mental telepathy, you're in no danger. He will not harm you. He will not move. He's just here for you to view him, for you to get to know this type of being, because he will become known to you in your life.
Wow.
And Dad walked all the way around him, looking him up and down. And like I said, my father was 6 foot, and he said, "Sissy, I had my head bent all the way back just to see his face. He was that tall." He said, "I've never seen anything that gigantic in my life."
Wow.
He said he was jet black, and he described Bigfoot. He said it was. He said, now they're called Yetis, and according to the elders and the other Greys that I've tangled with in the past, they refer to them as Yetis, which would make sense. You know, coming from the Himalayan monks are so mentally in tune with their surroundings, they would know the proper name of these beings.
Oh,
and they call them Yetis.
Wow. Okay.
And some of the words have been broken down to Cantonese and Chinese that they speak in their language. So it doesn't surprise me.
Oh, wow. Lady Wolf had a question. Do you ask them anything and do they answer you, or do they just get, angry?
The aliens get very angry. They don't like to be questioned. As far their mentality with women is very backwards. They women to them should be submissive, quiet, subservient. Lower your eyes, go to a knee. You know, you don't stand there and ask questions or talk back.
Wow.
And you know, one of the biggest, I've been backhanded several times when I'm on ship because I would just flat tell them, "You put me in the wrong place."
Yeah.
In Tennessee, in the United States, to be raised, if you wanted me to be compliant and subservient to you, you screwed up royally because it would never happen. Bam.
Yeah. There was something. So, Kath had said, wait, did you see the flying? Wonder what is that? Avatars? Sorry, can't spell. Do you know what she's talking about, Grizzly? What Kath was talking about?
No, I do not.
Okay. I don't know what that. I mean, it looks like Avatar, but that's not. I mean, kind of not. I don't know. Vicky or Standing Stone. Vicky. He's saying, "I swear on my mother's grave that I also ran into the same kid." Oh, he must be talking about something about when he saw the ship, the spaceship above them. I'm sorry. Okay. And let's see if there's anything else.
Oh, Kat said that she saw. I remember another person said they saw ships full of dead people.
Oh.
On the flying saucer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you seen or heard about?
I have seen a ship, and it had 4 elders on it. They were ancient, though. I mean, really, really old. And they took me into the dock area on their ship, which is usually empty. It's like 3 huge bays that are just normally empty, they said. And they had stacked in there plastic coffins. They were just lined everywhere in there. And then my mind went, I know where those came from. And they said, yeah, that's what they were for, us. You remember years ago that the railroad depots and places had stacks and stacks of plastic coffins, like could hold like a whole family, just had them sitting there. Mm-hmm. They had those on this ship. And I said, what is this for? And they said there's going to be an earth calamity. And it was, they were talking about a huge earthquake followed by a tidal wave. And they said it was to collect the bodies of the dead. And I didn't even ask what they were going to do with the bodies. But shortly after that is when they had that really bad earthquake that hit in the, my brain just left me.
What year
it happened on Christmas, and it was earthquake in the ocean. They had the huge tsunami hit all the islands.
Like Indonesia, I believe.
Yes.
Like that. Yeah.
Right after I had that visit.
Oh, wow.
Long at all. It was that huge earthquake that caused that tsunami, and all those hundreds of thousands of people died. Oh. And they had showed me the bodies floating in the water when they were going to collect them. So apparently, but what they were going to do with those, I don't know. I just don't even want to fathom the thought of it.
Standing Stone is asking, can we share the video of the front door? And I'm going to find that, and then I'll send it to you, Grizzly.
Okay. Have you seen it, Grizz?
I'll play it.
Yeah, let me see. Yeah, because we played it. I think we played it last time.
They took all of my eggs that I had at the time.
Oh, Lauren, my gosh.
Eggs.
Where is it? Oh, here it is. Okay. I'm going to send it to you.
Now, I also have a memory of being taken up on ships many years ago. And I have all of these light-skinned children, all different ages, from teenagers to crawling, coming up to me, wanting to touch me. And when I mentally said, what are they doing? They said they just want to say hello to their mother. So they were literally just coming up to lightly stroke my own hand or stroke my cheek. They had almond-shaped eyes. They had very pale skin. Their hair was very thin. And you could tell that not the tall whites, but the tall grays had spliced their genomes in with supposedly my eggs to create these children. And they just wanted to say hello.
Wow.
So.
That's Standing Stone says, okay, so if anyone is seeing this for the first time, watch the middle panel of the glass on the right side closely. Wow.
There, up at the top, yeah. But you actually see his eyes blinking.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I call one of the tall grays. Now, they were constantly zapping my phone, make it fuzzy in and out, the focus in and out. They were doing that.
And it's too loud.
But that's the night we had the conversation. You're not getting me with that device. And I said, oh, yes, I am.
And you did.
There's also a being right there in the center. But the only way to tell it is to stop the video, clip out a piece of it, and lighten it considerably. And it looks like a human female. Very large head, but right there in the center. She's up so close to the glasses, she's not showing up like that alien up there.
That must be what Standing Stone was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you said it looks like a human female?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
With some kind of elaborate wrap on her head.
Oh.
But she's right in the center of the door.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that's one part of the video. It was actually a 5-minute video, but in order to get it uploaded, you have to chop a piece of it off.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just a piece of it.
So yeah, can you explain? Just set that up. Like, you're in the house and there is.
I was sitting on the couch. I'd already had my bath, gotten ready for bed, standing in my gown. I was leaning over to kiss Bobby goodnight, and I happened to look out the back door, and I saw him standing there. And I wondered why he wasn't cloaked. So I started videoing and walked over close to the door, and I'm looking him right in the eye. And I'm like, what are you doing? And mentally, he said, you're not going to catch me with that. And I said, watch me, big boy. Watch me. And then I turn around and part of the video, and I say, husband, I said, Bobby, are you seeing this in the door? And he was dozing. He couldn't even respond to me. So I just kept videoing it for about 5 minutes. Yeah. He was determined that I was not going to get him. So as soon as I finished recording, I turned it around, looked at it, hit replay, and put the phone up against the door. I said, there you go, big boy. You said I couldn't get it, right? How about that?
Oh, that's great. Yeah,
bones, I'm telling
you. I don't know. It just went out of my mind what I was going to ask you. I don't know. Gosh, I don't know anybody. That's wow, Jennifer. Oh, you said that that you were surprised that they normally cloak. So what does it look like when they
cloak? They shimmer. It looks just like a Sasquatch cloaking. I mean, it's like I've seen the elders do it with a robe, and it's a dark blue, and it looks just like a hooded robe, and it comes up over them and encases them, and it's just very wavy and silky like material, and then it reflects any and everything around it.
Oh, wow.
And there's absolutely no seeing them with these on. There's no detecting them at all.
Okay.
But it's actually a type of cloth that the elders use. Now, as far as the grays, I do not know what they use to cloak, but literally they can cloak. Now, I have seen one that had on he had on a black like leotard uniform, and he had down the sleeves, it was long sleeve, it had like little lights or like little metal attachments all the way down the sleeves. And they were radiating light, different colors of light. So they're manipulating with energy our vision and the electricity and the magnetics around their bodies to cloak themselves.
Okay.
I've got a picture of that somewhere. I have to send it to you.
Yeah.
Because it was actually a cat being. They had a black jumpsuit, like a leotard jumpsuit.
Wait, so is that an alien? The cat?
The cat one was, yeah.
Oh my god!
Very much so.
Did you know this, Grizzly? That there were so
Ah.
many. Whoa! Because we've been talking about like different things and like different entities, and gosh, is it aliens?
Cat-like beings, and they're very much they're very inquisitive, just like the Greys. You know, they use portals to come and go here. Now, I've never seen them on a ship, but I've seen them use portals. In fact, I've got several good pictures of them coming out of portals, and they're just blatantly there. You can't say it's anything but a being that looks like a cat. Instead of a dog man, you got a cat man. I mean, it's exactly what it looks like. No tail. Wow. And they have on clothing that looks like it's materially made to snugly fit their body. It's like a full body suit. But they've got these little electronic electrodes all the way up and down the arms and on the chest and down from the. So you know it's for manipulating energy to shield with. You just know it when you look at it. But interesting, the very light up on the arm that's the most prevalent is red, white, and blue. I find that interesting.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
What a coincidence.
Yeah. And did you I had seen I was listening to you on another it was another podcast, and you were saying that that you had a near-death experience, right? And then you think
that's why they took me. That's why they took my eggs.
Okay.
2 weeks later, I died in a car crash, and I literally died.
Okay.
I lost.
Tell us about that. Yeah.
I was hit head on, and we hit head on. Our cars bounced apart. He was moving so fast. He hit me broadside, drove my car 250 feet, and wrapped it around an oak tree. Well, I didn't have my seatbelt on, so my head took out the windshield in the first lick and the steering column with my chest. Second lick, my head took out the passenger's window, and then when it wrapped me around the tree, I went out the driver's window. So I had 3 complete skull fractures right across the top of my head.
Whoa.
Fractured 2 vertebrae in my neck and 2 in my upper back. Collapsed both lungs. Lost the use of my right arm. Had to learn how to walk again. Talk again. It was a lot of fun. But what made it even worse is as I'm dying, and I know I'm dying, and I'm at the car wreck, and I can hear these 2 voices coming up to me. And I heard one of them say, "This one's a goner." And I heard another voice say, "Yeah, ma'am, just let her go." And then I heard a third voice say, "Get her out of that GD car and get her out now." Well, come find out, it was a state trooper. And he had actually even worked the accident scene. He followed me to the hospital. He stayed with me, held my hand, talking to me until my father got there. I had been completely scalped. So I had this teeny tiny piece of skin right here on my forehead holding my scalp on, but my scalp was over my face. So when my dad got there, he thought my face was gone. So he fainted.
Oh my gosh.
Make it worse, they gave me universal donor blood, and I'm type specific, and that instantly started affecting all my organs. All my organs started shutting down, so they put me in a medically induced coma, stitched my head back together, still all that glass in it, and just told my father, "She just pray. She's in CCU," and I stayed in CCU for 2 weeks. But I died so many times they lost count. And each and every time I would die, I would jump into that light. And it was the most beautiful light that you can imagine. The place where I was going, you cannot imagine or describe the depth of love there, because love is the only emotion that is prevalent or exists there. It's it. Even the love a mother has for her child, even the love for her newborn child, doesn't compare to the feeling and intensity of the emotions you feel in this place. And it was a place of beautiful, vibrant light of every color. And in between me and my previous family members, some of them I even recognized, was this river of light. And it literally flowed like a river, but it was energy. Every color of the rainbow, but muted, like in pastels. And gold and silvers all intertwined. And it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And I was so determined to get to them, I would jump into this river and sink up to my chest and start trying to wade through it. And it just, I remember telling Daddy it felt like warm pudding, fresh off the stove, and you just put it in a bowl and it's just gotten warm enough to eat. That's what it felt like being in this energy. It literally embraced you, and it was just warm feeling and thick. And halfway across each time, a large entity, a being of the most beautiful light I've ever seen. What's getting between me and them saying, "No, you still have work to do. You have to go back. Nope. Mm-mm. And he would push me back, and I'd go back into my body, and but I would never would come out of the coma and wake up, and then I would die again. I was right back in there, fighting with this entity. It felt like forever, and I got so mad at this beautiful being because it wouldn't let me stay there. I mean, I was mad at the world and everybody in it for a year after I woke up, but not because of the injuries I had, but because I had to leave that place. Mm-hmm. If anybody wants to know what heaven's like, ask me. I know, I've been there. It was wonderful.
That's amazing. I found that so comforting. Yeah.
It was very comforting.
Oh,
but when you're in that light, it's like you're in part of a collective consciousness.
Yeah.
And you know everything and everyone that has ever been, that is, or that will ever be.
Oh, wow.
You're plugged into that overwhelming, all-knowing knowledge of everything.
Wow.
So,
okay,
yeah, I won't leave it.
So that's just, oh, yeah. Somebody had taken blew that up. So where's the woman?
She's right in the center.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Yeah.
I've got a really good picture of her where you can even see she has lipstick on. I mean, it's such a good picture. Gosh. But it will change with every clip in that video.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So thank you for doing that. Who gave us? Oh, Lauren. Thank you. Or Lorene. Yeah. Thank you. Wow.
Oh, yeah. It's been interesting. I had made a vow to myself, I'm not going to talk about this anymore. Maybe it'll just stop, maybe it'll go away. But it hasn't gone away. So guess what? I'm going to talk about it. And I'm going to talk about it until no one wants to hear about it.
Wow. Thank you for doing. I found that really comforting about, because I don't want to say that I don't question my faith, but you just, you know what I mean? You have those times where I don't know, am I, the things that
I've experienced, you better believe I've questioned it.
Yeah. And then, so that was really, really comforting. Wow. And then I do feel like you need to tell these stories because so many more people are abducted than what.
Just not telling. I went I almost within a hair's breadth became a missing 411. And this happened 5 years ago. My little dog, Bobby, had put the recliner down, and he's a little dog anyway. He's half Chihuahua and half Shih Tzu. And he was asleep under the recliner. So when he put that foot part down, he was trapped. Well, he just continued to sleep. And didn't matter how long we yelled and hollered for him. He wasn't coming. He was asleep. So we crossed the neighbor's fence line. Bobby takes a left. He's going to go up to my father's pond because Max loves getting the water. And he's going to look for him there. And I'm going to turn to the right. I'm going to go to my neighbor's pond, which is not far, 300 or 400 yards, maybe 5 at the most. And then we'll walk around the pond, look at my dog, and come back. Well, I get up to the pond. Everything's okay. It's a very windy day. It's very dark and overcast that day. There's a lot of traffic going up and down the road because it's a Sunday. And so everybody's getting ready to go to church that night. So you can hear all the traffic. And I walked up to the pond, and I started about halfway around it, and I noticed it was really quiet. I mean, just eerily quiet. And I looked up at the trees, and I could see the branches just beating like crazy, just whipping, just hard as they could whip. And I looked down at my feet, and a frog had jumped up close to my toe. I could see its little throat bubble out and bubble back in, so I knew it just made a sound, and it jumped into the water. My foot was less than a foot from the water. I didn't hear the frog hit the water. There was this big stone right there in front of my foot, so I kicked it into the water. Still made no sound, and I freaked. I said, I'm in a trap, because there was absolutely no sound, nothing. I couldn't even hear myself speak. So I turned, and instantly I heard a voice in my mind, and it was the grandmother. It was the old female Sasquatch that's been with me all my life. And she said, it's a trap. Turn around, backtrack, stepping in every step that you made to this point to get out. It's the only way. Don't miss a step. And it did. That's exactly how I got out. When I stepped back over the drainage ditch, then instantly I felt a really loud pop in both my ears. And it was excruciatingly painful. And it was so bad I had a little bit of drainage, bloody drainage in both ears for about a week after that.
Oh my God.
But then I could hear again. I could hear the wind. I could hear the traffic. I could hear the birds screeching. And I was like, oh God, thank God. Well, I was almost in a safe shot. And then instantly I felt like I was being flanked. that feeling you get when you know you're being watched and you know you're in danger on both sides of me, because I was on a very narrow deer path, because by this time a lot of the grass had gotten taller than me. But I could hear something flanking me on both sides, pushing me toward the house, but I couldn't see what it was, and I knew it wasn't the Sasquatch. It wasn't the Sass family. They weren't talking to me. By the time I finally get to the house, I'm a wreck. I really don't understand what's just happened to me. Okay, do I have missing time? Did they take me? No, because I couldn't hear anything. I was literally in a trap. My husband grabs me and shakes me. He said, "Where the hell have you been?" I said, "I just went to the pond. Let me tell you what happened." He said, "You've been gone almost 2 hours. I was ready to call the law. I've already walked over that pond 3 times, walked around it, and you were not there."
What the
I said, "Yes, sir, I was. I was there."
Oh
And
my
to this
God.
day, I have a constant ringing. It's like a piercing vibrational hum. Now, I hear in both my ears. Sometimes it's high, sometimes it's low, sometimes it's the same in both ears, sometimes it's altering itself. Sometimes it gets really, really annoyingly loud, and then sometimes it just gets really, really dim. But when I'm being defiant and complicit, it's really bad. It's all I can do to hear myself think, much less focus on someone's conversation. But I think that I walked in through a vortex or a portal. And I really do believe that's what happens to a lot of people that go missing, that is reported as 411 missing, is they did not know how to escape it. I had help. I had the Sasquatch help me. But the others, they wouldn't.
Oh, wow.
And I can tell you right now, a lot of the missing 411 that you never see back, or you just get them back and they're half clothed or they're naked, they've been experimented with and played with by ETs. It's ETs. Don't blame it on Dogman. Don't blame it on Sasquatch. Even the ones that are forced to work with them, it's them.
Okay.
And they have help.
So you think that they make the dogmen work with them also, you feel like?
I don't think it's the Dogman. It's one or the other. If they don't do it willingly. And it's not just the ETs that do it. There's other powers at play that want it to seem like it's only the ETs doing it, but they're helping. Red, white, and blue. What can I say?
Yeah.
Myself on, red, white, and blue, all the way.
Lauren, or I'm just Lauren. I don't know how to pronounce it. I need to figure out how to, because that bugs me when I see the little little accent. Do you know how to pronounce it, Grizzly? When I see that over her name, and it
call her Lauren.
Okay, all right, okay. And I'm sorry if that's anyway. She made it interesting. Well, first of all, she said, if you can see this, Jennifer, she said it gives her comfort knowing that her parents are in a beautiful place, and that's amazing. I agree. Yeah, but then she said, I wonder if where did it go? Oh, wait, go down a little bit. Oh, you can just say Lauren, she said. Okay. Oh, wait, I can do that. Okay. I wonder if the female one that helped you out, is it related to you? Because she was from an egg that was taken from one of your family members years ago. But that was a Sasquatch, you said, that helped you.
Yeah, it was a Sasquatch that helped me. Now,
Okay,
she calls me sister. She calls me little sister.
Okay.
She's the old female grandmother, I call her. Her name is Asia.
Okay.
She's the one that helped me. And she's been in my life all of my life. Okay. They do have human genetics. It's very possible. It's very, very possible that we're genetically related.
Wow.
Like my great grandmother was born in 1879. And, she's the one that had the dreams, and she called them the little people because she was Chippewa, and they just called them the little people. But she would describe to my father, and he was listening to her avidly as a child, that it was little grays. It's the grays that she was talking to, and she was referring to them as little people.
What size were they, would you say? Have you?
Daddy said that she always described them about 3.5 or 4 feet tall, because Nanny, I'm 5 feet. Well, Nanny was only 4'11" and about 90 pounds soaking wet. So yeah, so she said they're just a little bit shorter than I am. So they would have been about 4 feet.
All right. Kath had asked, does the noise vibration change when the Bigfoots come around compared to just visitors?
Mm-hmm. Okay. It's a different frequency, but I can tell it's them because it's a pleasant feeling and it's a pleasant sound, and it makes you feel relaxed. Now, when it's the other visitors, the ones I don't want to tangle with to begin with, then it's fluctuating between both ears, and it's a very high pitch. So it's very annoying, and it's letting me know, okay, danger's close.
Okay. Wow.
And it makes me wonder, well, was it deliberate? Did they do this to my ears deliberately? Did they do something to the bones behind my ears, to cause this?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I know that after that happened, that the mind speak got really, really strong between me and the Sass clan that are here. So was it actually a gift?
Yeah.
If it was a gift, I think it would shut up every once in a while. But it doesn't. I haven't heard a what?
No, I've been quiet. I've been really quiet. I'm reading everything. It's just like, wow.
That's what she said last time. She's like, was Grizzly like, was he mad at me or bored or something? I'm like, no, I think he was just like.
I'm watching all the comments and keeping up with everything, and people's text me like, "What in the world?" I'm like, "I know."
And everybody talks about orbs and Bigfoot. Well, orbs and Bigfoot go right along with UFOs, because anytime there's UFO activity, you see those orbs everywhere. I was taking a bath several years ago, and for whatever reason, I had my camera laying right there by the bathtub. And I look up and see the most beautiful orb I've ever seen. So I take a picture of it, and it's literally violet in color, and it's moving. You can see the movement, and then instantly I heard in my head, "Happy birthday." I'm like, "Thank you very much, whoever you are." So they absolutely go hand in hand. It wasn't the Sass people that did this. The violet and the blue colors are more like in connection with the elders. These elders dress a lot like what you see people talking about, the Federation or the Brotherhood Federation or whatever. They're really tall in the silver or the blue bodysuits with the long. Okay, they dress just like that. Yeah. They have a metallic looking belt that they wear, and it has utility belt they wear around the waist. But if this is a Brotherhood Federation, I don't want any part of them. Yeah. Because you just want to run as fast as you can. Wow. People tell me, well, I want to go outside and I want to psychically connect with a UFO. I said, well, you go right ahead, but you go about 10 miles down the road, and don't be thinking about me when you do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we talk about my paranormal activity in my studio. I'm still shaking up, and I don't need sleep. I'm still shaking up what happened last night when y'all wasn't on the show.
What happened?
Ask Barb.
Well, we were talking about, should I say the words? There were a couple words
at this point. I'm done.
I'll just say it because
everything.
We were talking about Dogman, I think at the time, right? Was the and then
no.
Oh no. Kath was she had called in and was helping us helping us figure out what happened. Anyway, so we're just he and Chris and I just discussing and Grizzly saying, well, biblically speaking, and something about dogmen, and then the gates of hell. Some people think they just come right out of the gates of hell. Right when he said that, it was like let me see if I can. It was like, and we're like,
whole studio,
what just happened?
It scared the living jeeps out of me.
Yeah. And then I thought maybe earthquake, but you know what was weird? And I looked. Where's your? Oh, see his little. Is it like an iPad that you have, Grizzly? Like
yeah, I got an iPad right here.
Yeah.
See, so over here, I can monitor live.
Right.
Another.
Yeah, I could see that. But right after it happened, very well.
About the waist.
And I'm like, wait, what is that on your? It looked like a picture. It was like pictures of all his dolls, but there was one prominently, and I'm like, what? Why do you? I said, who's that? And then he said, oh, that's what do you mean? And then he's like, wait, what? And then he got scared. I'm like, no. He's like, what? I said, no. It's not scary. because you probably thought it was a person.
She's like, off your shoulder. Like, what do you mean she's up on my shoulder? Tell me now. Tell me. Don't hold it. And
So
everybody's
then-
like, what in the world? You know?
was into your show for sure. Showing you what they could do, I imagine.
Yeah. So we don't. Yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Mhm.
Oh,
I was at Cherie's years ago. It was right before I helped her move, and her husband had passed away. And I'm standing in her house, was so haunted, it was scary. And I'm standing in her dining room, but there's also a computer table fully set up with computer, stereo, printer, the whole 9 yards. And there's a huge double window just directly in front of the computer. I'm standing there looking at these two huge, gigantic golden eyes. So
down go.
oh yeah, and it was okay. It was at least 9 feet off the ground where the eyes were, and I said, "Hello," and I just heard a laugh. Well, I knew it wasn't then. It wasn't one of the SAS. It was one of the beings that haunted this area. And then I heard a snarl, and then this whole computer system, this table and all, started levitating, and it levitated up and back on the ground, and up and down, and up and down, up and down, just like this, with everything still on it, coming a good foot off the ground. Sheree comes flying down the stairs from her bedroom. What in the blank is going on? I said, it's okay. It's just this fool right here trying to scare me. And I looked at the window. I said, is that all you got? Because you damn. I'm immune to it. I'm immune.
Night, I would have cut the feed on you right away if you would have said that.
I'm immune to it. I've been seeing ghosts and orbs and beings from other wherever all of my life. So it's nothing. This doesn't frighten me. And as long as you're not afraid, they have no power over you. Your fear feeds them. Whether it's alien, whether it's dogman, whatever it is, fear feeds it. So don't feed the pooch. Don't be fearful. And I didn't. I just stood there and said that. I just crossed my arms and said, hey, is that all you got? You ain't got me yet.
I'm not challenging whatever.
I heard a
yeah, I love it too. Yeah, I love her temperament, her southern
there's
temperament.
no, well, I've been in the light, so all fear left me long ago.
Yeah,
what it's going to be is going to be. What they're going to do what they want to do. They have power over me because they're stronger, more powerful, more mentally adept at doing what they do. The technology is 1,000 years ahead of ours. So all I can do is laugh at them and be as uncompliant as possible because I'm a Southern girl. You wanted me to be complicit and compliant. You should have had me born somewhere on another country somewhere where they still veil their women, okay, and make them be silent because this one's not going to be quiet.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy. You didn't try to kill me how many times and it hadn't worked yet?
Wow.
Don't know what to tell you. So you definitely don't scare me moving the computer table up and down and up and down and up and down. I mean, stuff was falling everywhere off this table. It was coming a good foot off the ground. It was just boom, boom, boom.
Wow.
And he just knew he was going to frighten me. And I was just like, good try, buddy. But nah, what? Is that all you got? Sheree said, I can't believe in you, you crazy fool. You're not afraid of anything. I said, I'm not afraid of that.
That's so great.
But you will back me up. I have a witness to this.
So if somebody is, I don't know, the awareness is let's just say I'm just going to set up a situation like if I'm I don't know, laying in bed and then I see like, oh my gosh, it looks like it's a tall white or whatever, like coming to me or whatever. Is there anything I can do to stop that? No. Okay.
Nope. No amount of revoking, no amount of saying, no amount of holding up that light and pushing back because they'll walk right through it. They're using technology and we're using our mental abilities and our faith and our love and that energy that we generate as human beings, and their technology just blows it out the water. So no, there's not. If they want you, they've got you. And they will instantly control your fear with a touch. And you won't be able to move. You may not be able to speak. You'll still be able to see what's going on. But your fear is completely gone because they have taken it and they have made it lay to rest. And then they do whatever they want to do.
Wow.
But no. And if you think that you're able to refute it in the name of Jesus and go right there and hold your hand up to that dog man or that alien, they're probably just going to flatten you. It don't work. That power, and I'm a God-fearing person. Okay, I love God. I've been in heaven. I've been in that light. I know I'm going back. So for me to say that, for everyone to hear, I probably make a lot of people mad, but it don't work. Believe me, I've done it.
Yeah.
We've all done it, and they just laugh.
Mm.
You know, and it's not that they're evil. They're scientific.
Mm-hmm.
It's like scientists and engineers that you're dealing with. And their mentality is 1,000 years advanced over ours. Their technology is even beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing phases them.
Yeah, they don't have the answer, I guess, to that.
They don't fear God because I think they think they are gods. But they don't fear God. So if they don't fear that rebuttal, it won't work. You can't save your life. You might save your soul, but not your physical life by doing that. Save your soul, though. I guarantee you that.
So holy water, then, Lauren, that is asking. No, that's not gonna. Yeah. Kath had asked, how do you cope with the mass trauma? Like one rape, etc. And is bad enough. How do you cope with the triggers? Sorry, it's a heavy question. Yeah,
I know it's a heavy. It goes back to, if you give into the pain of it, or fear, or if you hold on to the energy that incident created, then they have control of you, and that's why they do it. It's a type of manipulation. I will hurt you as much as until you fear me, until you comply. Well, you'll never make me fear. You have to. It takes a mindset. You just have to mentally say, I forgive you for this. I release it. I let it go. I will not hold on to this, and let it go. Let it flow away from you energetically. Just let it flow away. Because if you hold on to the pain and the anger and the rage and all those negative emotions that what they've done to you has caused, then it gives them full control of you on every level, mentally, spiritually, and physically. So you have to, every night, I do it every night, I forgive all of you for all of this and everything that you have done. And I release it in the name of God. Wow. I release it and let it go. Tomorrow is a new day. And just, you have to let it wash over you and wash away from you. Because if you hold on to it, and I know for women, it's hard for us to let go of being assaulted, being hit, being raped, being molested, being abused. But you have to, because if you hold on to it, they feed on it. And it makes them stronger. And it makes you weaker. And the only thing I can tell you to do is release it and let it go. And I know it's not easy to do. It's taken, I'm 57 years old. It's taken me. It took me 40 years to learn that lesson, not to hold on to, because if you hold on to it here, okay, this controls your body. This right here. When I woke up in that car wreck, the doctor said, you will never walk again. You may never use your right arm again. You probably will never speak again. 3 days after they told me that, I got up and walked out of that hospital room outside and sat down in the sun. Don't tell me I can't do something. I'll show you, by God, I can. That's just me. But if I had held on to those thoughts of those negative thoughts that the doctors had given me in the moment, I may still be in a wheelchair because I would have believed what they were telling me. I refused to believe it. That's the same way with these entities that I deal with on a constant basis, and we argue a lot because I'm an Aries. I'm just not going to be pushed. You don't put this baby in a corner and not expect me to come out fighting, because this little baby going to come out fighting. First. No matter what they do, I have to go back to that moment when I had to retrain, because this controls the body. This controls everything. So you have to control this.
Yeah.
And in order to control this, you have to learn to let go of the things that they're trying to use to control you with. And that is pain and trauma and abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, everything that they do. And the only way I can tell anyone to survive it is to release it. Every night when you go to sleep, say tomorrow's going to be a new day. It'll be a better day than today was. I forgive you for what you have done, and I release this. And I wash this energy off of me.
Yeah.
And the next day would come around and it would start right back again. And I would just continue that cycle, no matter what they did, no matter what they broke, no matter how many came at me. And it wasn't just mental attacks. It wasn't just spiritual attacks. It was full-on physical attacks. And it still happens to this day.
Gosh.
And Barton is absolutely correct when he says they're radioactive, because 2 years ago, I can send you a picture of me. I weighed 110 pounds soaking wet all my life. Now, it's been for the past 3 or 4 years, it's been an onslaught of attacks from them, and I have blown up like a whale, but it's my thyroid.
Oh.
And what affects the thyroid?
Radiation. Yeah. Oh,
He
my
said,
gosh.
every time he posts about that, I'm going right back at him. You're absolutely correct, buddy. If you, all of them are. They carry that cosmic radiation because the way they travel in those portals apparently affects them, and they bring it through with them. So with me being constantly attacked, well, yeah, it's this right here.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
So, but it is the hardest thing for a human being to do, especially a woman, is to let go of being assaulted, whether it's a physical strike, being beaten, being raped,
Yep.
If you hold on to it here and don't release it here to the heart and let it go, it will take full control of your life, full control of you. That's what they want. They feed on that energy. They feed on the fact that they can make you so fearful that you look at them and you pee yourself. So the only key to surviving this nightmare that I have found is my free will and my dogged determination to be very incomplicit and just let it roll off like this. As my grandfather used to say, like, roll off me like duck rolls off a back, water rolls off a duck's back.
Yeah.
Roll off me.
Yeah.
Let it go. Tomorrow's going to be a better day. And you'll wake up stronger. And you will wake up stronger, because they will realize no matter what they do, they're not going, the only way that they're going to ever shut me up is take me out. And that's the only way. At this point, I'm so angry with them for everything that they have done.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. Lauren said, yeah, it's hard to let go of things, but if you hold on to it, your life will be filled with despair. Yeah, that's
exactly. They feed on despair.
Great.
Shadow beings, they go right along to ETs, because a lot of these ETs travel interdimensionally. And the shadow beings are what the ancient people called demons or demons, are basically one and the same. They're just coming over from another reality, and they're using these portals to travel through, and they attack us. They attach to our life.
You have experience with those. Yeah, with the shadow people in your house.
Sure do. I sure do. Yeah. And it's just a fear tactic. It's just a fear tactic that they use to try and invoke fear. But my husband's just like I am. We've experienced so much, and he has always had a very open third eye, just like mine. So he's able to see it too, and he just sits there and tell them to get out of the house. No fear, no animosity, no anger. Just get out of our home. Leave my wife alone. Get out. So they've come up against two, and he's a Taurus, so he's got horns too. Yeah. So both of them are just stubborn. Now, what frightened me is when my son came over and my daughter-in-law, and they said, okay, my two granddaughters said, there's a ghost been trying to hurt them. And I said, well, describe the ghost to me. And they completely described an entity that I knew had been hanging around. And I said, here's her name. I know that one's name. I said, you call her by the name. And you tell her specifically, I said, stay away, and call her by her name. That it is forbidden, that y'all are protected. So that stopped. And it only happened on two occasions that I know of. But because I was lucky enough to know what this entity's name was and tell my son and daughter-in-law what to do, it stopped right then.
Oh, wow.
But that's terrifying for me. I'll take all of it. Just leave my son and leave my grandbabies alone.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately, I can look out my front door and see their house. The only thing separating us is a creek. So I set up all kind of energy boundaries, and you know, you name it, I've done it. Rocks, sage, feathers. You know, I've even thought about having a priest come out. You know, well, I've done everything I can to keep all of that on this side and away from them.
Yes.
But it's been an absolute nightmare for me, especially. It's been a nightmare for my husband, especially with his knees. And you know, it put him out of work for a year. When he was already retired, so he was getting his Social Security, but he was still working 3 days a week to pay for his beloved Harley. He loves to ride. We both love to ride bikes, and that's been my saving grace, is being able to ride and get away, because I've always loved to ride horses and bikes, and we both have Harleys, and we get out and ride, but then we have to come home. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Wow.
And I have great pictures of those little demonics, I call them.
Well, I greatly appreciate you coming back. I really do. Thank you so much. That's a lot. It really is.
Yeah.
We really didn't even touch the iceberg on this, but
no, it is.
Yeah.
So no. Now if you'd have been on the show last night, you probably have been like everybody. This would have been you. You okay?
I'm going to go back and watch last night's show just to catch it.
I mean, oh my Lord, yeah. Oh, wow.
It was weird.
They were really trying to freak him out by pulling up the page with the doll. So I mean, that's good.
See, yeah, that's what I
deliberate. That's a deliberate. Maybe they knew I was going to be on here today.
Maybe.
Well, I'm still shaking up about it. So
I've tried to keep it quiet until just today. I wouldn't tell anybody, but just a few people, that it was going to be your show that was on today, because all I've heard for a week is don't do this. You know, my whole mental thing all for 2 weeks has been don't do this. And I'm just like, watch me.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
I'm doing this.
So much. Wow, that's
what you gonna do. You can't stop me. Not unless you come down here and shoot me.
Oh Lord, don't say that. But thank you so much for.
Oh yeah.
We'll definitely have you back on again. So
yeah. Thank you.
You're gonna definitely keep yourself your pants by laughing. Why? It's not being funny. It wasn't funny.
I'm actually going to entertain myself tonight and watch it just so I can see.
It was, you know what? It was ironic when we went back and watched it. It was like, oh, whoa, like wow, wasn't it creepy, Grizzly? Because it's like, oh,
I didn't go back and watch it. I loved it. No,
when you
didn't want to watch it,
the segue of what you were talking about was like, oh my gosh, like I mean, the timing was perfect. That was what was. They did not want. You know, you talking about
him freaked out for a reason. Someone did.
Call me a redneck. Yeah, I am a redneck.
I was thinking to own up to be one myself.
So I did not. I had to check my drawers after the show.
Okay, that does it. That seals it. I'm watching it.
And I just sat there. And I'm like trying to look around real slowly, like, what the hell was that? And everybody's like in shock. I'm like, okay, yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Like, what's that?
Yep.
Oh yeah. Now the dog's barking. Yeah, great. Now we got more activity, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, you saw me look around.
Cat's like, don't say no. And she's giving us initials.
Don't say.
What the hell is that, Cat? Tell us, huh? Ain't it? Well, we know what the hell you're talking about. So it took us a minute to comprehend what word she's talking about. You know, what we were talking. What did we say, Cat? And her little pendulum was like. I had to show them on the phone and on the camera, didn't I? How her pendulum was like, it was like a helicopter.
Yeah.
Oh, she's old. Her jazz. I was hard. Lauren, I'm glad. Yes, yeah. You and my holy water pressure washer thing. You cracked me up.
I've tried holy water. I've tried everything you can think of.
Holy water makes it worse unless you are persistent with it. I had gotten the,
I was
what is
smudging
it
my
called?
house 3 or 4 times a week at one point. At one point, I was doing it every day.
I had to get the anointing oil out last night and this morning.
Oh. Mhm.
All over my forehead, on top of my head, on my arms. I thought about bathing with it with the washcloth, ladies and gentlemen. And this stuff is not cheap, ladies. This stuff comes from Jerusalem. So yes. I thought about getting out my 75 crucifixes that are blessed and putting them all over my bed and laying on them. I mean, that's
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have. I have done that.
Oh, Jesus.
See?
Hush, y'all.
That was like what happened last night.
And poor Chris, Chris is like, you ain't gonna believe what happened to me last night. Cat, somebody slammed the door in his house, Cat. And he was telling me today, he went to his daughter's like, what are you doing? She's like, what are you talking about, Dad? And he's like, what'd you do? Well, I don't know what he's talking about. She said, you didn't hear that? And his daughter's like, hear what? And he was like,
We hear
So,
about that door slamming here, and we'd be in one room, and all the way at the end of the house, you hear, oh, wow. And it's not something hitting the outside of the house. You can tell it's actually something slamming a door inside the house. So we get a lot of that too. It's just,
Yes.
hey, we're
No,
here. In case you
dog.
forgot. It's just their way of saying, hey.
so why is your dog barking? I'm curious now.
I think maybe he hears my husband. Let me see if my husband's home.
Oh.
I'm getting nervous again.
Yeah, he hears my husband's truck out there. So I'm going to move to the back bedroom.
Okay.
Quiet.
All right. Well, all right. I'm going to let everybody go. We're on that makes me feel a lot better.
Yeah.
And
It
we'll
was
see.
just my husband.
All right. Thank you.
There we go.
Well,
I get away from the dogs a little bit. I get my.
No,
get my
you're
back
fine.
to the video.
Everybody's getting worked up. We're talking about things. Cat's probably getting
Yeah.
worked up. Please, Grizzly, don't say it. So, yes. Taking a shot. I was getting ready to drink the whole damn bottle today. I don't know if that's going to make me run to the bathroom or not. It probably would.
Oh my
Anyway,
goodness.
but yes, Grizzly, Becky's behind you. Great.
Oh.
I love it when she tells me crap like this. Kat took all night to calm down. Didn't really work. I know she was really upset last night. She was grabbing her chest. I was like, yeah, poor Kat. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap. And thank you again for coming on the show, Jennifer. Always lovely.
I enjoyed it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so
Get
much.
hold of Barb and let her know
Thank you.
what happened. And and watch it. Have fun with
Yeah,
it.
yeah. And
Yeah.
I have a little thing that I want to talk to you about, Jennifer, like a little thing I think we get a cute idea of a show. Like or fun, scary maybe, but
What do you mean?
Chrissy, you and I were talking about it, remember?
Yes.
No, I don't remember.
We were
I don't
talking
remember.
about it.
Oh,
About the
no,
call,
no.
about having open mic.
Oh,
call in,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
people call in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I thought you meant about the other stuff. Oh, I don't know. No.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I'm down with that. But ladies and gentlemen, from coast to coast around the world, we'll see you on the next show.
Thanks so much.
Bye,
Bye, Jen.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.